So, as promised in earlier videos, here is the match reaction to Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0, which sees Aberdeen go top of the Scottish Premiership, still unbeaten in the season, at least for the next few hours. We'll see how Celtic get on against Motherwell, and then we'll also see if Aberdeen and Celtic are going to open up a bigger lead over Rangers, or if Rangers will keep that gap down to 6 points on both of them. But it now means it was a huge game anyway. But it now means it's a massive, massive game on Wednesday night between Aberdeen and Rangers. Aberdeen know going into the game that no matter what happens, they will be ahead of Rangers after the game. How far ahead remains to be seen. First half was a wee bit of a non-event, let's put it. It was way more open. Aberdeen seemed a wee bit off it, to be honest, but second half it was totally one-way traffic to Aberdeen, and they reaped the rewards at the end of it. But without further ado, let's get into the player ratings. Starting off with the Aberdeen goalkeeper, Dimitar Mitov. Dundee United didn't have a single shot on target, so there wasn't a whole lot for him to do in the game today. But given the season that he's had, if there was anything to deal with, I think he would have probably dealt with it. According to save percentages that I've seen on X or Twitter, he's got the second best save percentage in the league this season, just behind Kasper Schmeichel. Always rated him at St Johnstone last season. I think he was one of the main reasons that St Johnstone stayed up, but he didn't have all that much to do today, so I am going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Next up, Nicky Devlin. I think he's having a very, very good season for Aberdeen. Obviously got a Scotland call-up, whether that's due to injuries or not is what it is, but I think he is having an exceptional season for Aberdeen. Plays a major part in the goal that Aberdeen get. He hasn't been given the assist, but he definitely plays a huge part in it. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for his performance today. Next up is Rubicic, just a solid defender overall, to be honest, has been now for a couple of seasons. I am going to give him a 7 out of 10 for his performance today. I think the whole Aberdeen team is going to get relatively high ratings, to be honest, with the exceptions of a couple of people. Gav Malloy, I'm going to give him a 7.5 because he has a really important part to play in the end of the game where Dundee United were trying to get something from it and pushing people forward. And I thought he was a standout, so 7.5 out of 10 for Gavin Malloy. And Jack McKenzie also has had a Scotland call-up. I do rate Jack McKenzie as well. I just think that he had Nicky Devlin on the other side had a slightly better game than him, but I am going to go for a 7.5 out of 10 for Jack McKenzie. Next, for Palaversa, I don't know if it was because of how good Nielsen was next to him, but I just didn't notice him as much. He had an effort on goal at one point, but I'm going to give him a nice solid 7 out of 10 for his performance today. And speaking of Nielsen, he is my man of the match for today. I think against Celtic he did the dirty work. Wasn't too noticeable, but he did what he had to do, won his battles really well in the Celtic game, but today was just imperious in the middle of the park, won the ball back loads, looked to go forward every time he got it as well, so I am going to give him a 9 out of 10 and give him man of the match for today. Kiskinen, not one of his best games for Aberdeen, just didn't really pan out for him. Sometimes that can happen. Wasn't terrible, but wasn't by all means effective at all, really. So I am going to give him a 5.5 out of 10 for today. Duke, he's going to score slightly higher. We'll go for a 6.5 out of 10 for Duke. Not as impactful as he was against Celtic, but still created chances. Was a threat, or looked a threat when he got on the ball, and if they can get him back to firing what he was a couple of seasons ago, then it will be even better for Aberdeen. Jamie McGrath, because he's had such a standout season for Aberdeen, it's noticeable when he's not at his imperious best that he's been this season. So a 6.5 out of 10 for him today as well. But it's okay not to have as impactful a game as you normally do. That's just football. Esther Sokler should score in this game. It is a really good save. However, you would say that from that far out, he definitely should score, and he would have been full of confidence after his well-taken goal against Celtic as well. He's looking to be that standout number 9 with the injury to Guehi and Miofsky being off, he's looking to be that standout number 9. He needs to take that chance. But I am going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought his all-round game today wasn't too bad. So 7 out of 10 for Estasokla. It would have been higher, of course, if he'd taken that chance. Now on to the away team, Dundee United. Jack Walton is going to get the highest score for the Dundee United team. I am going to give him a 8 out of 10 for his performance today. He would be more gutted than anyone to have lost that clean sheet. Good performance all round, and he did concede, but he had a lot to do in the game, especially in the second half, and he did it well. So an 8 out of 10 for Jack Walton. Don't know how to pronounce the second name, so I'm going to call him Emmanuel. And, okay in the game. A lot of Dundee United's ratings are going to be similar as well, but not as high rated as Aberdeen's. I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10 for Emmanuel. Declan Gallagher. He's experienced at this level now, played with many different teams, and up until just after the 80th minute they were keeping a clean sheet, but didn't really notice him too much in the game. 6.5 out of 10 for Declan Gallagher. Kevin Holt, I'm going to give a 6.5. It seems a bit harsh because I do think he was the best of the centre halves, but I am going to go for a 6.5 out of 10 as well, because at the end of the day they do concede a goal. Lucas Stevenson, he's had a good season this year. He'll have better games than how he played tonight. Dundee United were pinned in. He's like to get forward this season. 6 out of 10 for Lucas Stevenson. And another one that's had a good season as well, but will have better games than he had tonight, is Will Ferry. Aberdeen just in the second half just kept Dundee United pinned in, so we'll go for a 6.5 as well for Will Ferry. Another one that I'm not going to try the second name for, Vico. The main thing I can remember him doing really was doing a professional foul in the middle of the park. That's about it. I'm going to go for a 5.5 out of 10 for him today. Babunski, 6 out of 10 for him. The thing is, it was so imperious from Aberdeen in the second half. It's hard to. I don't know if I'm being harsh on the Dundee United players, but it's just the way I'm seeing it at this point. Trapanovsky, he's had an okay season for Dundee United this year, but very isolated in this game, as was a lot of the Dundee United team, like I said. We're going to go for a 5.5 out of 10 for him. Glenn Middleton, as much as according to FotMob, he had the least amount of touches of anybody that played 90 minutes, but if anything positive looked like it was going to happen for Dundee United, it looked like it was going to come from Glenn Middleton. So I'm going to go for a 6.5 out of 10 for him. Sam Dalby, a couple of goals since coming up from Wrexham for him, but again, this was just a hard game for Dundee United. Going to go for a 5.5 out of 10 for Sam Dalby. On to the substitutes. Shaden Morris, I thought he was absolutely excellent coming off the bench today. As much as I've said in other match reviews that I find it hard to rate substitutes highly if they don't directly score or get an assist, I think he should have got an assist or two. He was very good, and he was a driving force for Aberdeen coming off the bench, so I am going to give him a 7.5 out of 10 despite not getting directly involved in a goal. Graham Shinney, just did a Graham Shinney performance off the bench, nothing too spectacular, just helped get the game under more control. I'm going to go for a 5 out of 10 for Graham Shinney. Leighton Clarkson, he was part of that attacking contingent that came on, had a couple of chances, nothing too spectacular from him though today, so another 5 out of 10 for Leighton Clarkson. Peter Ambrose, of course, has a big impact off the bench, scores the goal and marginally offside, and would have won his side a penalty as well, so I'm going to go for a 7 out of 10 for Peter Ambrose off the bench. Besusian, he would have taken the penalty if it was awarded, but VAR correctly gets involved and rules it for offside. Other than that, just a couple of touches of the ball really, so I'm going to go for a 4 out of 10 for him. And we're going to quickly fire through all of the Dundee United subs because of how much they were pinned in. So Miller Thompson, Richard Odada, Van der Sand, and Ryan Strain, all going to get a 3.5 out of 10 coming off the bench. It was just very good from Aberdeen in the second half. No slights on them. It's just the way that it is. On to Jimmy Tilleen, his score out of 10. It wasn't perfect because of the first half, of course, but he got it so right in the second half, especially with his substitutions. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 for that performance. He's got this Aberdeen team not just getting results, it seems, but they've got that mentality to keep pushing on and get the win, even if the performance isn't all there. First half it wasn't. They'll be riding high on confidence after being able to see out the win against Celtic. See out the draw against Celtic. Well, it felt like a win at Celtic Park, and if they are able to take anything off of Rangers in the way that both teams are playing, they might think that they've got a chance of getting a win against Rangers on Wednesday. If they can win that and go 9 clear of Rangers, then it starts asking the question, at the very least, of can they do a Leicester City, if you like. I still don't think they will. I think eventually they'll fall off, but if they do beat Rangers on Wednesday, then there's serious stock into the battle for second place, if you like. I feel so. We'll see how that goes on, and then if Rangers drop points tomorrow, then it could be even worse for Rangers going into it if they were to lose to Aberdeen. It'll be interesting to see what the possession stats are against Rangers. When Aberdeen played Celtic, it was very heavily in Celtic's favour. It was very heavily in Aberdeen's favour tonight, and it's not something that you would see from Aberdeen teams in the past, of having as much possession as a Celtic or a Rangers at the top of their game have against other opposition. And same with the amount of passes they're completing. So it'll be interesting to see what approach Aberdeen take against Rangers on Wednesday. I look forward to watching that. Jim Goodwin, tough one. Defensively, of course, set up, and up until 80 plus minutes, it was working. He kept Aberdeen out. I'm not going to put too much slight on him. I think Dundee United, on paper, they don't have a fantastic squad, and I think they're punching above their weight this season, so I am going to give Jim Goodwin a 7 out of 10 for his performance today. It is only a 1-0 defeat after all. They were all over them in the second half, but, they did end up getting breached eventually. I don't think he looked too happy at the fact that they got breached, but it is a match up against who is the second best team in the league as it stands. Well, first best team in the league as it stands, I suppose, the top of the league, but we're looking at it on that point of view. Dundee United have only lost 2 games so far in the league, both being to teams above them in Rangers and Aberdeen, and both of them narrow defeats as well. So I think they can keep some confidence and see if they can keep a good bit of momentum going for the rest of the season. So that about wraps it up. It's interesting to see what happens tomorrow in all 3 games. Obviously, we have the Edinburgh Derby, which will be on TV first. I'll cover that one as and when it happens. We have the Motherwell Celtic game on TV right after that. Also, the Rangers game isn't on TV, so I won't be covering that one. However, I'll probably mention the full-time result of that in the Celtic and Motherwell review as well, because those games kick off at the same time. If you're new around here, please like, subscribe, and please feel free to check out any other videos, including the SPFL RTG. We finally got some evolutions today, so that should help us progress on the team, and a new episode did drop today for that, so if you wouldn't mind giving that a little check out, that would be appreciated, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the reviews of the Edinburgh Derby and Motherwell versus Celtic.